It's the show you love, and we're coming back, right?
We are. We're back.
And you love us?
I love it. Do you love the show?
I love it.
I think Keith loves the show.
Keith loves the show.
Otherwise, he wouldn't be directing it for free. It's the show you know and love. We've come to the conclusion that everybody here loves it. It's Vinyl Ventures.
Do you love it?
I think so.
Yeah. We see you clapping. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we're trying to broaden our horizons. So we're doing a show on new stuff.
New stuff.
Or
shit. Yeah.
Whatever works. And when we say new, it's not stuff this year. We're old, so it's got to be stuff released in the last 20 years.
And there has been a lot.
There has been quite a bit released in the last 20 years.
And until you go through and flip through all your records, you don't realize it.
Yeah, you don't realize how much, even though you're into, more classic stuff, you're like, wow, there's been some really good rock records come out in the past 20 years.
And what's interesting to think about, because I was thinking about it as I was gathering my stuff or shit. Can you imagine?
That's two.
Okay.
We'll put the jar up here.
Oh,
And you got to put a quarter in.
For saying wordy dirds. Can you imagine what the record industry would be like if there weren't back catalog stuff? I mean, because 90% of the stuff, I would say 90% of the stuff that I buy is back catalog stuff.
Oh yeah, there's a lot that I buy that's been around for many years.
I think that
even represses.
Yeah, I think that number would scare us if we actually knew it.
I don't want to know it.
No, me neither. We'll talk to a record company executive maybe one of these days and ask them about it. Yeah, we do. And he gave me the name of someone else that we need to talk to.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So tell me more about the new stuff.
So the new stuff, it's funny. I think 20 years ago, in 2002, there was a lot going on with rock music. The Strokes were popping.
Jet.
There were a bunch of bands coming out of the East Coast in particular, really the New York scene, that were just lighting up airwaves. And the whole grunge thing was going away, but it was a new direction for music.
And all of these bands were like a new hope kind of for rock music.
Yeah.
Because, every couple of years, somebody's screaming from the rooftops that rock and roll is dead. And then a band like the Strokes come along or a band like Jet comes along and you hear like 4 songs from their album.
Oh, yeah.
And then they disappear. Which is exactly what happened with both of those bands.
Well, yeah, it was weird. It seems like all that hope kind of vanished by 2010.
Yeah.
And
then the cycle kind of starts again.
And now it looks like that's happening again. It's changed. I mean, it's maybe not traditional rock, but it's more like think when punk first came in the late 70s. It was a new version of rock.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm going to start with.
Well,
my first bag grab.
Ooh, whip it out.
Wet Leg. And if you haven't heard this Wet Leg record, oh my word.
I have not. I have not even heard of them.
You have not heard?
No. Who is it?
So Wet Leg, they're a British indie rock duo from the Isle of Wight. And they were founded in 2019. They were almost a joke when they started. But they were playing a bunch of gigs in the Isle of Wight and Bristol. And then they had a song, Humdrum Drivel, in 2013 that took off. They've been around a while, but they've just really started to pop up on indie stations. They're really a college rock. They have this song, Chase Lounge, that if you listen to and you don't hear them on radio. I haven't heard them on a radio station, but I hear them on XM radio all the time.
It sounds like your kind of deal.
Yeah. And
checks all the boxes for...
Is the number one box? Talk Singers. Oh my God, are they talks? And it's a couple of chicks. They are so awesome. I love this band. I mean, the first time I heard a song from them, I was I'm like, wow, I got to check them out. And I got the album, and it's like every single song, I'm blown away.
How many albums do they have?
Just this. This is their first release, and it came out this year.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've never been so blown away with a new band. Well, I have, and you'll hear about others, but that's what happens. You know, you hear a new band and you get really into them. It's like, I got to have everything. Well, I've got everything they've done.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
But they're super indie, and they're really fun.
What is it? A major label, independent?
That's a good question.
I would assume independent.
Domino. That's independent. Sounds
Yeah.
independent. I'm sure a major label owns it.
Yeah, or distributes it.
Yeah.
That's cool. Awesome.
And in a weird twist of fate, I still have the shrink on this because it's been sitting on the. It just gets played nonstop. I mean, I probably play this record every other day.
Have you downloaded it?
Yes,
Oh, okay, good, good, and it still worked.
as far as I know.
Well, that's a great first one.
Yeah, they're a super fun band.
I'm gonna randomly grab stuff.
Oh, you're not being strategic?
No. But speaking of strategy, how about Office of Strategic Influence?
That was not planned.
That it wasn't planned, but I'm gonna bring.
Office of Strategic Influence.
Yes, this is.
And it's on white vinyl.
This just got released. I mean, it didn't just get released. I think it originally came out in 2003, but this is at the time it came out, it was only on CD. So this is the first vinyl pressing.
That's
And-
cool. I like that when that happens.
Yeah, and it's beautiful and it sounds fantastic, and it's got two dudes from Dream Theater in the band.
Oh, okay.
And this, I think this would be your kind of. I think you'd really dig this. It's indescribable almost. But anyway, let me read you a little about it. It's the first studio album by prog rock band OSI, released February 18, 2003. Jim Matthias got Mike Portnoy and former Dream Theater keyboardist Kevin Moore together, and they put a band called Chroma Key together.
That's a good name.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. And then it kind of has morphed into OSI. And OSI, over the years, Kevin Moore has kept it going, and it's had different guys in it.
It's
so
like
it's
a
kind of
revolving cast of characters.
sort of a King Crimson-y kind
Oh.
of thing. But the music's all over the place. I mean, there's a lot of different stuff going on. But Kevin Moore is just, when he was in Dream Theater, that was my favorite era of that band. And
Yeah.
he was the keyboardist and did a lot of writing lyrics and stuff. And he's gone on and just, he scores movies and all kinds of crazy stuff. But this album is just fantastic. And their second album got re-released.
Now,
released
is this
on
a
vinyl.
double?
I love the texture on this thing. Sorry. Let's just do this. I'll put that back up. It is a double. And,
It's that anything that came. Well, not anything, but a lot of releases from the CD era
absolutely
are going to be doubles.
And
just because you can cram more music.
Right. And there are 3 bonus tracks on this, so I think 13
Yeah.
tracks altogether. So it's going to be difficult to get that on anything but 2 records. But yeah, man, I love it. It's great. Some of it is kind of it's hard to describe. Proggy, but also on the verge of industrial, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But you can't go wrong with any of the solo stuff that the Dream Theater's guys do is just always great. And
My favorite part of shows is watching you struggle with bags.
yeah, well, believe me.
That's a cool. It's like a inside. It's like a
This is like the passport book.
it's like a passport, and inside there's all kinds of stamps from all the places they've been.
See, I like seeing you struggle to read shit when you don't have your helpers on.
I can't read anything.
But, when the idea for the show came up, I was like, oh man, how much contemporary stuff do I have? Plenty. We could do three more shows.
Yeah, we can do 3. It's like the live show. Oh boy.
Yeah.
It just goes on and on.
Yeah. Just like our record collections and the debts incurred because of them. What's your next?
So next on the list, okay, you're not going to expect this one from me. I guarantee it.
That's kind of a theme in the last couple shows.
Yeah. And I try to surprise you.
Can I make one more comment about the OSI?
One more.
Look at this fucking thing. What am I supposed to do with that?
The hype stickers.
It's round.
A round hype sticker.
Okay.
Naughty.
Not verboten.
Verboten. Okay, next, in trying to branch out, Casey Musgraves.
What? Wow. She is awesome.
Casey Musgraves, this was her first release, same trailer, different park. This gal is an incredible songwriter. I mean, she may have even been in Nashville trying to be a songwriter, and she got a deal. But, the songs are just incredible. Silver Lining, My House, Merry Go Round is phenomenal. I mean, if you haven't heard this album, and this is one, I think the first time I heard it was on NPR, All Songs Considered.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, they were doing, like, you could stream an album for about a week, a new release.
Oh, really?
And I don't think they do that anymore. But at the time, I was all over NPR every day to hear the new release. And I listened to this every single day it was available because I just loved it.
That is surprising to me.
Yeah.
Considering it's a country record.
Yeah.
There are a lot of great country artists. She's one of the big ones right now. Kelsey Ballerini.
Yeah.
Obviously, Taylor Swift is in any type of music that she wants to be now. It's great.
But she doesn't have a classic voice. She's just a singer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wouldn't call her voice really good.
Yeah.
She's a singer. She's singing. She's a songwriter.
And a songwriter.
That's her key trait is
Yeah.
she's an amazing songwriter.
That's great, man. And she's not terribly hard on the eyes.
No.
So.
But yeah, I would go see her. I've listened to her other releases and I like them, but I love this one.
And what year was this? Do you remember? I can look.
Probably 2005.
Damn, can I use your readers?
It's tiny.
I'm just making fun of you.
Yeah.
And, oh, boy. 2013.
2013.
2013.
I was off on that.
Yeah. So that's actually about what I was expecting. It kind of seems like it's almost 10 years old. Well, that's awesome, man. Good for you for branching into country.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, you're going to whip out a jazz album.
Maybe not on the show.
Johnny doesn't hate jazz, but
Yeah.
still lukewarm on it.
Yeah. Lukewarm jazz.
Oh, this is the one I wanted to get.
Ooh.
So this is The Last DJ, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
I've heard you talk about this one.
And it's kind of a concept album about the radio and record industry. And
Ooh, I'm intrigued.
yeah, it is. And it's not like your typical sing-along Wildflowers type record. So this came out, let's see. What year did this come out? I have it pulled up here and I still can't find it. 2004, I think.
2004. It should be on the right.
Is it?
Over on the right. Release date.
Oh yeah. Sorry. It's 2002. So it just made it under the wire.
Good job, Tom.
So The Last DJ is the big song off of this, and you'll still hear it occasionally.
Yeah.
The Man Who Loves Women is a great song. Can't Stop the Sun, Dreamville, When a Kid Goes Bad. You can't go wrong with I don't think any of his last 6 albums were bad.
Tom was a prolific music producer.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch any of the Wildflowers doc stuff, a lot of people talk about him being that open valve of songwriting creativity. I think Rick Rubin told a story once where he sat down in the studio with Tom and he played him a song, chorus, verse, bridge, everything. And Rick was like, "Oh, that was really good. What was that?" And Tom goes, I don't know. I just made it up.
I just made it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but Tom, throughout his career was kind of a poking the stick at the bear,
Yeah.
being the big record companies and the radio industry. And this is kind of a big FU to all that stuff. So there's a lot of heaviness to it, maybe a little less playfulness than some of his albums
Yeah.
have. He's making a statement, and it's kind of ironic, you put out a record that's telling the radio industry to go F itself. And it's probably not going to get a lot of airplay. So you've heard songs from this a lot less than you've heard.
Yeah,
lot
because
of his other stuff.
hey, he's making fun of the radio.
Yeah.
Guess what? We're not going to play you.
Yeah, but it's I love the back of it too.
Yeah.
Just a close up. And this is obviously a repop
Yeah.
on Warner. Actually, I don't think it was ever released on vinyl in 2003. Or
Yeah, it probably
2002.
wasn't. Probably just CD.
And it's gatefold and double vinyl and all of the accoutrement. And one of my favorite things, you can read the spine real easily. And I thought there was a damn hype sticker, but I guess not.
There probably is. Don't take it out of the bag.
It probably fell out last time I listened to it. What are you going to whip out next?
All right. So next, this is more of what you would expect from me. Parquet Courts. It
Oh.
looks like a country album.
It does. I just saw this when I was in Denver.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, at one of the record stores.
They're, of course, talk singers. I don't know.
Ching.
I don't know
Cha-ching.
what it is about these guys, but I have like 6 albums from these guys. I love Parquet Courts, and they're kind of punky, but not totally punky. But the song that, and this is another. There used to be. It wasn't XM radio. It was a podcast. Well, no, it was a streaming service, and it was called Dive Bar Jukebox, which is right up my alley.
Yeah.
And then they sold to like an XM station, so I don't get to hear that station anymore.
Oh, bummer.
But the what is it? Stoned and Starving.
Did you play that for me? I feel
I think
like
I
you
may
played
have.
that for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, these guys are and none of their stuff sounds terribly different album to album, but I just really love their sound.
And how many records do they have?
Whew.
6? 8?
They have several. I don't know how many. And I may even have.
Every time I see this, I think of the Boston Celtics because they have the parquet
Oh
basketball court. Little weird tidbit.
yeah, that's good. I may not have anything on it.
Hold on a second while Bill gets to page 17 of his notes.
Yeah. No, I don't have anything on.
No? Okay.
Nope.
Do you want to maybe make a brooch or a hat
I'll make a hat.
or a pterodactyl?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Where are they from? Do you know?
They're from the West Coast, I believe.
The best coast.
The best coast.
Okay. Cool. Well,
So-
I love it. You've had an actual country album and an album that looks like a country album.
Yeah, because it's a guy riding a bull, and he looks like Ronald Reagan. Every time I see that, I'm like, why is Ronald Reagan riding a bull?
Well, he was a cowboy.
Yeah.
He was a freaking cowboy,
And
man.
then it's like this was the first version of the album cover because all the songs are handwritten, some are crossed out.
And this is like circled with a
Yeah,
pen.
light and gold. This is Parquet Courts Light and Gold.
Nice.
Did not mention that up front, but yeah.
I love it.
So yeah, that's a fun one.
What's the,
Is that a tomato? Yeah, tomato pizza guy on the back.
what the boy? That's some difficult writing to read on the back there.
I need something more than readers to read that.
Well, now you can just turn on Google Translate and
Yeah.
figure anything out.
Figure this out. I think it's all. I don't. I have no idea what's going on.
Do you not have your decoder ring?
It's different. It's all about the music. It's
It
not
is.
about the art.
It is. This is one that I just got.
You were just telling me about that.
This is actually live at the Checkerboard Lounge, 1981, Muddy Waters and the Rolling Stones, and a few other star-studded blues dudes. So I think I talked in a recent episode, were it not for the British invasion, less the Beatles and more the Rolling Stones, the Stones were such huge fans of Howlin' Wolf, Muddy Waters. I mean, the list goes on.
Yeah, the Stones were way into the blues guys.
And in the mid 60s, if it weren't for them calling attention to these guys, I'm not sure that blues as we know it would be still
very true.
Thriving.
Yeah.
And you got to give these guys credit. I mean, luckily this was recorded, and I think it was intentional that they recorded it, but I don't necessarily think they expected it to be a huge release. They just wanted to play with Muddy at his place and kind of connect on that level with one of the originators, one of the biggest names in blues. So this just came out. This is 2 LP, opaque red and opaque white vinyl. So you've got all kinds of good stuff on here. You don't have to go, please, Baby Please Don't Go, Hoochie Coochie Man, Mannish Boy. That's a 10-minute version of Mannish Boy.
Oh, yeah.
Mind you. Sweet Little Angel, Flip, Flop, and Fly, Hoochie Coochie Man. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I already mentioned that one. Didn't I? Or did I? Yeah. But there is a DVD of this, too. So.
This is one I will definitely pick up because I like Muddy. I love the Stones.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that happened. I think you've probably seen footage from this because occasionally they'll show some footage with those guys with Muddy.
Yeah.
And a lot of it came from that night.
This is, and let's see, when did Start Me Up? Start Me Up didn't come out until
81.
81?
Mm-hmm. So
I was thinking it was a little later, but yeah. So this was a kind of the Stones going into a rock and roll revival.
Yeah.
Because they'd just come off, was it?
Tattoo You,
I
think.
Well, Start Me Up was Tattoo You, right?
Oh, maybe it was.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was the song on.
Yeah, that was the first single. For whatever album was before Start Me Up was supposed to be on that album.
Yeah.
And they held it for the next. But yeah, they were.
I think was it Emotional Rescue?
It could have been. Yeah. Isn't it great? We can just talk about shit that we don't even know for 5 minutes. Anyway, this is the Stones and Muddy Waters, and giving, all respect to
Muddy, because they're all Muddy songs.
Yeah. Well, and just all the blues dudes. There's other guys that played with him there that night. It's and it just came out, I don't know, like a month ago, I think. So it's cool to see a revival of sorts of things like these because, if it did get a release on vinyl at one point, it wasn't widespread.
No.
And now
that wasn't the kind of thing that was released on vinyl at that time, especially not in vinyl's heyday. That's why all this live stuff's getting repurposed now because it's like people are clamoring for stuff they haven't heard.
Yeah. We should do a live show. I figured you'd like that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And hype sticker is rectangular. Thank you very much, Mercury Records.
Mercury Records. That's another good label.
It is.
All right.
Okay, now.
So next,
on
this is one that we have chatted about, but another album that has been released this year that I've been blown away with. And I'm gonna take it out of the plastic.
I almost brought this. This is a fantastic record.
Jack White's new album,
Yeah.
which I don't even know what it's called.
It's Fear of the Dawn.
Fear of the Dawn, yeah.
Yeah.
But the cool thing, I think I told you about this, and I got this through Urban Outfitters.
Yeah.
Look at that.
You got a slip
felt
mat.
slip mat
That's cool.
that came with it was probably through Urban Outfitters.
You know what I love about this record? First off, this record just rocks. It is
different.
It's definitely, it's almost like heavy metal Jack White.
It's like heavy. It's very different. And there's some noises he's producing that I'm like, I don't know how he's doing that.
Yeah. But the art direction on it.
Oh,
all of the blue and black and white.
Oh, it's just gorgeous.
Yeah. It really is cool. And, you know, this is Third Man Records. It's his own record label. He can do stuff like this because he owns it. And he's,
Jack is doing more for vinyl than maybe anybody right now.
That's what I was just getting ready to say. He's the savior right now.
Yeah.
He's the guy that a couple months ago was asking the major record labels, you know,
step up your game.
Step up your game, because people like him and independents like him are producing and pressing a lot of this vinyl for the bigger companies.
And they don't understand, why aren't you doing this?
Yeah, yeah. That's why there's, you know, that a lot of releases that are coming out now, especially for, you know, big bands, have been pushed back because of that vinyl shortage.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff coming out now probably could have been released a year and a half, 2 years ago, but they hold it back to release everything at once. Now, sometimes an album will be released on CD and then they'll wait for the vinyl. But yeah, this dude's doing amazing things for the greater good, and he's making some of the best music he's ever made.
Yeah, and this thing's packed with
extras.
Oh my! I mean, there's so much. Now I get to struggle with.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
I mean, look at it. I don't know what all this stuff is, but it's super cool.
It's almost like comic book art.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
it's just.
Yeah, it's like a different slip for each song.
Yeah, it's very stylized.
Jack.
There he is. What a handsome man.
Very, very cool stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I love that, man. Obviously, the priority for me is good songs, good recording, good performances. But the next thing that just takes things like this over the edge is art direction.
Yeah, I did not expect to like it that much.
Yeah.
Because I've heard some of his other newer releases.
Like Lazaretto.
that I like, but I wasn't like crazy about. This, I was bananas about.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder, you know, on Lazaretto, there's like a song hidden under the label.
Yeah, there's a hidden song. I love that he does stuff like that.
Yeah, just little Easter eggs.
Yeah, he's just having fun with the release.
Yeah, and the medium.
Yeah.
You know, he also at Third Man in Nashville, you can go in there and cut a 45.
Oh.
You can go into this little booth and cut a 45.
That is
How
so
cool would that be?
That's like the old days.
We could go in there and cut a 45.
45 promo.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we got a new feature coming up. All right. Is it my turn?
It's your turn. You're up.
Well, we made it, 4 records in without a jazz record. This is Both Directions at Once. This is the Lost John Coltrane album that I believe came out in 2018. And I'm not going to belabor it. It does have this die cut, these triangles on it that show the pictures on the inside. And it does have the bullshit hype sticker that's round.
Oh, no.
You
get a lot of round hype
We've
stickers.
gone from one pandemic to the next, round hype stickers. But this was recorded in Van Gelder's studio in New Jersey in 1963. Jimmy Garrison, Elvin Jones, McCoy Tyner, And this session took place at the last day of a 2-week stint that this band played at Birdland. And this is an album that until 18 was not available anywhere. I think that there may have been like bootlegs.
Yeah,
traded
probably bootlegs
here and there. But as far as actually being released, it hadn't been.
It's the lost out. I love the die cut.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, anytime there's a die cut, it's in the back too.
Yeah.
Anytime there's a die cut, it really just makes the album that much cooler.
It elevates it.
Yeah.
For sure. And this is a gatefold, and there's great artwork and bio stuff in there, just like you'd expect. This is Impulse, so.
Yeah. It looks very non-jazzy.
Yeah.
I mean, the cover.
Look at where it says the Lost Album. It's like
Ooh,
gold.
it's gold.
Yeah. What else can I say? I mean, he's one of the dudes. One of the dudes that it always has been and always will be talked about. And I don't, in going through my records and looking, I really don't have a lot of Coltrane. I mean, there's a lot out there.
Yeah.
And I have a decent amount, but it's kind of like chasing all the Miles Davis releases. You're either going to die or run out of money.
Yeah. You're going to be chasing a long time.
But this is really great. I listened to this 2 days ago. And it sounds great. There's some studio chatter, not a lot. So you just hear the guys talking a little bit.
And what year was this?
This came out in 2018, but it was actually recorded in 63.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing that some of these old recordings, well, and we've talked about this on the live show, now there's technology to really make them sound much better than they were.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's John Coltrane. I mean, you either get jazz or you don't, and I totally understand that. But one of the things when I started really getting back into records was I wanted to hear this music on vinyl, the way that it was heard from its infancy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to me, that's a kind of a time travel thing.
Yeah.
And I know it's not for everybody, but there's nothing that makes me happier than just kind of sitting down with a drink and listening to some Coltrane or some Miles Davis or, on and on and on. And one of these days I am going to separate my jazz records from the rest of them. Yeah. I promise you. And I'll give you a full report.
It's going to happen. All right. My next one. And I didn't see these guys when they were in town because I was just too lazy. They opened for Spoon.
Did they?
Yeah. I just didn't go to the show.
Where did they play?
The Lawn.
Oh, okay.
It would have been a good show to see, but my September was a nightmare, so having an evening off was a delight.
Having an evening off and an opportunity to record a show or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was their first release.
You didn't say who it is yet.
Oh, Interpol, Turn on the Bright Lights. And Interpol came out when that whole New York scene was popping with the Strokes and everybody's in denim. Interpol was like a new version of Joy Division. They're very drony, bring the tempo down. It's not really dance music. It's just I mean the easiest comparison is Joy Division. They were like a modern Joy Division.
Angsty, emotional.
Very angsty, very drone.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Not great. I'm not crazy about great singers. They weren't great singers, but they had really good songs.
And it clicked that box for you.
Yeah, it was everything. And they weren't on Matador Records, which a lot of those bands were. Matador was championing a bunch of newer bands at the time. RCA.
Matador. Oh, I was thinking of Madonna's record label, and that was Maverick.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
For a minute, I'm like, that's strange that they'd be on Madonna's label, but it's not.
No, Matador
label.
was
Right.
indie
Independent.
label,
Yeah.
putting out a bunch of cool records at the time. But yeah, so these guys were on a big label, and it took off.
It's amazing to me how big they have maintained, maybe more than the Strokes.
Yeah,
And because the Strokes kind of fell off the planet.
Yeah,
You know,
until this year.
last couple of years. Yeah.
This year they had a new release.
Yeah.
Or was that last year?
It was last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
the
that-
New Normal, I think, is their new one.
So that kind of catapulted them. Well, they kind of quasi broke up. They were all doing independent things, and then they got back together. And
Nobody ever breaks up anymore, guys.
No. But they're another modern, well, semi-modern band you could compare them to is Radiohead.
Right.
It's kind of the same vein.
And see, Radiohead has never clicked with me. Have they clicked with you?
Oh, yeah, I love Radiohead.
Do you? Well, I saw our friend Michael Young at a record store yesterday.
Yeah.
And he picked up, what was it, OK Computer? And he's like, great record. And I said, they never clicked with me. And it's like his face turned white. He said, In Rainbows is your way in to, to Radiohead.
In Rainbows is a phenomenal album.
Yeah, I need to listen to it.
It's Radiohead's. Well, we're not going to go on the Radiohead train yet.
Okay. But maybe we'll jump on at some point.
We will.
That's what year? Sorry. Did you say what year this was?
No, I did not.
Okay. This is
3.
This is good TV. I know that much. It doesn't say on the back.
Oh.
We will we'll find out and let you know. Or you can just look it up yourself.
I lied. They were Matador.
Yeah, I thought you said Matador.
Yeah.
Did you
But
think?
I kind of misspoke.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
Matador Records. Excellent. What is the cover?
It's well, turn on the bright lights. So it's like overhead lighting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it means,
Okay.
but
Cool. There you go. It's an indie band. It
it's
means
an
a lot
indie
of
band.
stuff.
Yeah.
Look out. Here comes Daft Punk. Random Access Memories. This came out in 2013, and Get Lucky is the big song on it. This kind of put them on the map. I mean, their first record
Oh yeah.
also kind of blew up, but with Nile Rodgers and Pharrell Williams, this just absolutely blew up. And if you don't know, this record is kind of expensive. Like I got it for a decent price. I don't know, a year ago, but it's become pretty expensive, and I think they've started repressing it. But
Well,
yeah,
when they blew up their heads and said they
that
were
they're
done,
over with.
Yeah, that shot their prices up.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that kind of escalated the Daft Punk records.
Blew up their heads.
Yeah,
Anyway, you guys know Daft Punk. It's sort of
it's dance.
dance music, but a little fusion, rock, some jazz and funk in there too.
It's kind of like
all over the place.
party
you know?
house.
Yeah, house music.
Yeah,
And I'm not like a huge fan, but this record sounds absolutely fantastic.
it's very. I can see why you would like this one because it's very at times it's very jazzy.
Yeah, yeah, and kind of laid back, almost.
It's good background music.
Yeah, yeah. So you can throw it on and do important things or not so important things. Sit on your porch, have a couple drinks.
And their albums are very, very stark with
Yeah.
the covers. I mean, they'll have this had each of their kind of
Helmets.
their helmets. They
Yeah.
wore helmets.
Yeah. Well, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, it's dangerous being a rock star.
It is.
It's a great album. Probably not like typical fare for me, but when, like I said, good performances, sonically good, and like just the artwork and stuff, it ticks all those boxes.
This, I definitely would say this is an essential.
Yeah. Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. Who knows? It might make an appearance.
It may. Will Daft Punk be back? Maybe.
Stay tuned.
So, kind of in that, I'm going to call this album the intersector between Daft Punk and Interpol,
All right.
the XX. And this was their initial release, the XX, the XX. And the die cut.
It's a big X.
Yes.
I like it. It's got a hype sticker up here that's
That was on
rectangular.
It was on the original packaging. It came in a really nice, I mean, this is the original packaging.
Oh, the sleeve is very thick.
Yeah.
It's almost like the anti-reflective. I know Keith's probably
Same.
going
What do they
nuts
keep
in
doing?
there.
They keep messing.
Stop touching it. But we want to touch it, man.
So this is another this is another London outfit with a their songs were mostly about sex.
Awesome.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, how many songs in popular music or rock music or blues aren't about sex?
And they very true.
Yeah.
But they had a strong R&B influence,
Okay.
but that may be hard to find if you listen to the record because it's very drony.
Okay.
It's very just
I'm recognizing a theme.
yes. I don't know why that music grabs me, but it does.
Hey, man. That's all that matters.
Yeah. And my favorite song on here is probably VCR. And that may be a song. It got some radio play on a local indie station, 92.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
What year? Do you know?
This came out, when was it? I should know. I think it was like 2010 maybe.
I was going to guess in that
Yeah.
area because I know I've heard of them, and
Yeah.
I used to listen to 92.3 all the time.
Yeah. 2010, 2011, somewhere around in there.
Yeah.
And they actually played at in Bloomington.
Oh.
Another show that I regret not going to at Birdie's.
Bluebird, you mean?
Bluebird.
Yeah. That's
Small
awesome.
club.
That's a great club.
Yeah.
A lot of indie bands play there.
Yeah.
And a lot of bigger
When they're
bands
first
play there.
on their come up,
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah, I've seen the Jayhawks there. It's pretty great. For
it's-
Mockingbird Time around that same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love this record. It's one that I never get really tired of listening to.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Very stark too.
Yeah.
Just
Superstar. And their other releases are the same way. They're, for whatever reason, the other releases, they kind of sound the same, but they just haven't grabbed me like this record
Right.
did. And this was another NPR find.
Discovery.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to listen to more NPR.
Yeah. All Songs Considered has some great stuff.
Yeah. That's great. Cool, man. Well,
So you're up.
Add that to the list of stuff that I need to listen to. I left the price tag on this.
Ooh,
This is
Jet.
Jet Get Born. And this came out in 2003. And if you remember,
See the hype sticker?
if you remember, you couldn't get away from these fucking guys.
They were everywhere.
They were everywhere. They're from Australia. And this just exploded. I think there were 4 singles off of this. They're considered garage rock, hard rock, alternative rock. I mean, to me, in an era, they sounded like nobody else. You know what I mean? I mean, while you can hear influences, they had more of a distinctive sound than anybody in that time frame, and they rocked and they were great, and then they fell off the face of the planet.
Yeah, I think a lot of those young bands coming up during that time had so much early success that it almost made the band disintegrate because
Yeah.
it went to their heads.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've never read up on exactly what the deal was, what happened, but I just I couldn't get enough of it. I mean, they reminded me of AC/DC,
Yeah,
but like a modern
yeah, a modern
AC/DC.
take on AC/DC.
They're from Australia, you know. But the producer of this record, Dave Sardi, had actually produced records for Marilyn Manson and the Dandy Warhols before this.
Nice.
And that's just totally like 180 degrees
Yeah,
from mainstream rock. But this was all over the place. This was on college radio. This was on, regular broadcast big stations.
Oh, yeah.
Is this oh man. Oh, it does have, it has the Rocktober
Rocktober.
hype sticker, which is also rectangular and acceptable. But I love the artwork on this too. Kind of black and white photo and mixed with drawing. and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's cool artwork. They always reminded me with this artwork of the Black Crowes.
It reminds me of Black Crows, and it reminds me a little of Revolver.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah. I'm sure there's a million
Yeah, there's a million others.
things going on, but we found this I got this when we went to Lafayette when I went to buy that guitar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so, and it was only $19.99. How about that?
Another great record store, which
We don't want to say the name because we don't want people to find out about it. Being very, very
secretive.
secretive about the
Honey hole.
honey holes. That's what, like the first record store that John and I, it wasn't even a record store, it's an antique mall. It
Yeah.
was at
Midland
Midland.
downtown.
And there was this one dude there that just had great records for reasonable prices. And we're talking, 9 years ago?
Yeah.
And John always called those places the honey holes.
And then vinyl really escalated and
Exploded.
everything. It was gone.
Yeah. Honey holes
Vanished.
vanished.
So when you have a special honey hole,
You got to keep it on
secret.
the DL. What's your next one?
So this is another NPR discovery.
Wow.
And Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros.
I've heard these dudes.
And when
I'll hold it.
when this album came out, it was another one you could stream for free for a week.
Yeah.
This was not an everyday. This was like 3 times a day
Really?
because they had this song Home on there
Yeah.
that was just amazing. That just blew me away.
That's
and I
great.
saw these guys at the Vogue on this tour. And the Vogue it's a small club in Indy.
Probably 1,000
Yeah,
people, maybe 900, maybe 800 or
might
900.
Yeah, that might be pushing it. But there are in big cities like Chicago, Milwaukee, there are a lot of small clubs like this that exist. And the stage is not made for a big band. It's made for like a 4 or 5 piece band. And it seemed like at times there were like 15 people on stage.
Well, there's like 15 people on the cover.
Yeah, and these guys they're I don't know how you would pigeon. They're very much like a hippie band, but I wouldn't call their music hippie like music. I don't even know what I'd call it. It's more Americana with a different vibe.
Like folky.
Yeah, it's kind of
Ish.
folky. I don't even know if I'd call it folky. I don't even know how to pigeonhole it.
Yeah. I like there is embossed, this is embossed on top.
Yeah.
Which is a nice touch. Man, that's a heavy duty package right there.
Yeah, it's remastered. It's a double LP. And this is one of those I'd been waiting for a long time for it to come out. And when I saw it, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm pulling the trigger on that.
What year did it originally come out?
I think, I want to say around that same time, 20. See, you're going to make me use my readers.
Whatever it takes, man.
29. Oh no, this Repop came out in 2019. It originally. Oh, I don't know.
People love hearing us struggle to find the dates.
Yeah.
That's great. I love the picture on the cover.
Yeah, they traveled around in. I mean, all of them.
In a van.
In like a hippie bus for a while. I mean, the video for one of these songs is all of them in this bus.
So it's like the Partridge Family.
It is. That's what it reminded me of. But it was just a groove that wasn't around at the time.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to check them out. This is another band that I heard on 92.3.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
They would go back and forth. There was a female singer and a male singer, and they would go back and forth. So it was just a really fun band.
Do you know anything about them or from whence they came?
They're
from L.A.
From L.A.
And they formed in 2007.
Jay's going to get all the...
They're considered alternative indie.
Alternative indie.
Which is a strange definition. And yeah, that's cool.
Up From Below is the name of the album. So, and when did it come out?
Let me hold on a second. I was looking just at the band info. This came out in 2009.
2009, so it was close.
Yeah. Can you believe that, though? 2009 was, 13 years ago now?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
There was a lot of good stuff coming out even around that time, too.
So the embossed part is the part that says remastered.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
There's a lot of weird things with this.
Yeah. Cool.
It is beautiful packaging, though.
Yeah. That's one of those things. I mean, I think we take it for granted, like how expensive it is.
Oh yeah.
For artwork and photography, and for those embossed things or the die cut.
Embossed or die cut.
I mean, obviously Pink Floyd's got the budget.
Yeah.
For that type of stuff, but not all bands, and especially not like an indie.
Yeah.
Band.
They've never really, like that one song, Home.
Yeah.
Off that LP is probably as big as it got for them.
Huh. Interesting. Well, that's cool. It's cool to see stuff you don't see all the time. Look at this. Look at these guys.
Steely Dan.
So this was the comeback album for Steely Dan. I think it was 2002. They hadn't done a record since Gaucho, and this was their comeback album. They won a Grammy for this record, and it just got re-released last year or maybe 2 years ago. I had it on CD. I've always been a Steely Dan dude, and their stuff on CD is pristine because there are probably no better recordings made at the time that they were together from like 1970 through, their heyday, at least in 83. So everything on CD just sounds fantastic. You can hear it all, but it's another level on records. True. And they were on CBS records originally. Some of those CBS records don't sound so great, but this one and their last album, Everything Must Go, were just released and repopped, and they just sound great. I mean, there's nothing else I can say. There are a couple. I think the big "What a Shame About Me" was the big song on here. and Cousin Dupree. That was another one. But the whole record is filled with what you would expect, some of the best musicians in the world, and smart ass lyrics. But they're a polarizing band too. People either love them or hate them, and there's not a lot of people like in between. Yeah, I get it.
And
But
it's not that I hate them.
you just don't get it.
My ears don't. It does not compute.
There's a lot of jazz in Steely Dan.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot. And but we've got it was album of the year. And the hype sticker is a square, which is fine.
That checks your box.
Yeah. And I just love it. Just kind of a picture of them standing with the sun behind them in the shadow. So, with Walter Becker just dying, who knows what's going to happen with these dudes. I mean, they're still touring.
Yeah.
But
it's not the same.
It's going to be interesting.
That's a good one. All right, so next.
I'll let you borrow it.
Thanks. So next is MIA. Do you know MIA?
I know of MIA, but I don't know.
This was her first release, and it's Aguilar. I'm probably saying that wrong, but
Aguilar? Something like that?
there's not
Aguilar?
a G. Arular.
Arular. Oh, okay. I was misreading spine.
And it came out in 2005, and she's known as if you do a search on her, it comes up as a UK rapper. I wouldn't really call her a rapper. Maybe she is a rapper, but her songs they're more dance hall music. It's like classic UK dance hall. And her father was in the Tamale Tigers. And he was kind of a big leader in the Tamale Tigers. So a lot of it comes from, I think they were relocated from Sri Lanka because of her father.
Wow.
Issues with the Tamale Tigers. So it's maybe more hip hop than rap.
Okay.
But it's very danceable stuff.
Cool.
I mean, when you hear her stuff, it's DJ dance.
I love the artwork.
Yeah, it's really fun. But
and there's definitely some separatist group art.
Yeah, and
inspired
there's
from her
a
dad.
lot of
I would assume.
a lot of her stuff doesn't get played. I think MTV would beep out the gunshots because almost every song has a gunshot in it.
How did you discover this?
That was probably another NPR discovery.
Wow.
Just because of the time frame, that's where I was picking up a lot of new music, and they were playing a lot of new music.
Man, isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
The rabbit hole we've gone down.
But MIA songs are really, really fun. I mean, they appeal to a younger generation, but this is the kind of newer stuff that I really dig.
That's awesome. Keeps you young, man.
Yes.
So, wow. That is... I can honestly say I don't think I know that I've heard of her, but...
The title is a political code used by her father during his involvement with the Tamale Tigers.
Huh. That's cool.
So, yeah, we have tanks, bombs, planes, machine guns.
Machine guns, war decorations for soldiers.
She had one song that was banned everywhere. It was about it was something about ginger, and it was about rounding up all the redheads and putting them in an internment camp.
I mean, it's a thought.
Yeah. So she's an out there artist.
Yeah.
That she definitely is not mainstream,
Right.
but it's one of those artists that if you're listening to house music, like she was really influenced by Diplo, which is a well-known DJ.
Yeah.
I think he even had something to do with this album. So
Huh. Cool. Is it a double? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah, just because of when it came out.
Right. Very cool.
Because CDs were king, and it's like, okay.
And you can get 80, 90 minutes of music on a CD.
Yeah. I doubt if when it first came out, it was even released on vinyl.
Right. Did you mention when it did come out?
Yeah.
05.
2005.
Oh, okay. Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, that would have been a couple of years before the crest of the wave.
Yeah.
Right? My next one, I just kind of mentioned it a minute ago. This is Everything Must Go. This is Steely Dan's last studio album. And it was repopped at the same time that the last one was. This record has some of my favorite Steely Dan music. And
Really?
It might be their last swipe. Yeah.
How do those two albums line up with Steely Dan's catalog? I mean, with you, are they top?
Oh yeah,
top
just
of the heap?
right up there.
Really?
I mean, they sound so good. First off,
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff that they recorded in the '70s sounds amazing, and everybody else's stuff kind of sounded like shit then. What they didn't do Steely Dan albums between Gaucho and Two Against Nature, but each of them did solo albums and solo projects that they were basically working on together.
Oh,
So
okay.
they may not have had an actual Steely Dan album, but like the Nightfly that Donald Fagen did, and any of the other stuff, they were kind of involved producing, writing.
They were still working as a team, but it's like, hey, this is your record.
right, and that's kind of a neat little detail that most
Yeah.
people probably don't even realize.
I didn't realize
Yeah.
that.
And I'm kind of emotional about it. I saw Donald Fagen's band right like maybe 3 weeks after Walter Becker died here in India.
Really?
Because it was like Walter Becker died, and I'm like, I've never seen Steely Dan. And so I was like, I'm going to go see this show. And his band played his music and Steely Dan's music just unbelievably well. Just a great concert. Sounded awesome. Your crowd was into it. And there's Steely Dan has a very wide swath of
Yeah.
of fans.
Because when did Steely Dan's first album come out?
I think it was 70 or 71.
So
yeah.
yeah, that's
So it's been at least 50 years.
yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah.
To be
Maybe-
putting out music.
Maybe not. I don't know. I could be wrong. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah. So this is their last one, and now I have it.
Woohoo! Public service broadcasting, The Race for Space. And these are actually remixes. And this is another band. Guess where I heard it? NPR.
Okay, that makes sense.
And it's a duo, and what these two guys do, they take recordings and they turn it into music, and it's a little more than just turning it into music. They were known for their live shows because it was almost like a Laurie Anderson type thing, where they're performance artists. And so they take all these broadcasts from like Sputnik is the classic one. So there's announcers talking about the Sputnik.
This is so you.
Yeah.
that-
It's it's very much experimental music. I
Right.
mean, a lot of people would say that's not music,
yeah.
but they don't sing. It's all these announcements.
Pieces of sound.
Yeah, pieces of sound cobbled together.
I forgot to mention on OSI, there's a lot of sound bites in
Yeah,
OSI.
I
stuff.
love sound bites.
Yeah. When they can grab those and put them into the context of whatever music, sometimes it's overdone and shitty, but when it's done well, it's great.
and these guys, they've got a couple of albums, and each one is a concept album.
Yeah.
like they'll do one. I think one's on Parks, but it's just it's hard to even put into words to explain. But they're really it's a different groove.
I bet if you had an edible, throwing this on might be okay.
Oh, that would be very good. And
I mean, we're not promoting drug use, kids. It's illegal in this state. But that sounds awesome. I mean, I am legitimately intrigued here.
yeah, this is another one that I think when I had that free stream, I listened to every day.
Huh.
It was just amazing.
That's awesome. I like the cover.
Yeah.
Kind of looks kind of like a 60s kind of thing. The Race for Space remixes. Oh, now I might have to go out and get it.
Yeah.
I'll probably stream it first, though.
I'll play you a song.
I dig it. This is Rush.
Rush.
Vapor Trails. Originally released in 2002. This album, when it came out, even Rush fans hated it because they hated the mix. And out of everything in their catalog that was kind of polarizing, this kind of received all of the ire. I loved the record from the beginning. It didn't sound to me the way I kind of expected a Rush record to sound. But this, as you can see, this is Vapor Trails remixed. They released it, didn't like the mix, and it was a whole thing for like 10 years. And then finally it was re-released. I'm just going to look at the damn date. Can I use your readers? I'm making fun of Wheels for not being able to see, but we're both in the same boat. Now I need to get this thing back, in fucking Ohio, to see it. So originally released in 2002, and then this remix came out in 2013.
Okay.
And I don't know how the hell I got it. I mean,
Oh, really?
it must have popped. Well, I mean, because you don't see this that often.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen this anywhere.
It must have popped up somewhere, and I grabbed it, which isn't typical because
Yeah.
I'll usually say, "Oh, I don't need to spend money on records," and then it disappears
Yeah.
from existence. But I love this record. I'm not going to bore all of you with Rush stuff, but One Little Victory might be one of the hardest songs they've ever done. Ghost Rider's on here. It's about him being a cyclist and a motorcyclist. Peaceable Kingdom, Vapor Trail. Yeah, it's great. It's Sweet Miracle is another great song on here. But, I get emotional about Rush now, too, because Neil's gone.
Yeah.
And, there are a lot of bands that I regret not seeing, and we've talked about them ad infinitum on this show. But one of the bands that I did see a lot was these guys, and I'm very grateful for that. So, we've always got records and CDs and those memories of,
Square.
or rectangular. Yeah, rectangular hype sticker, which is Jason Rich approved.
Well, and there's probably not a drummer alive who doesn't like Rush.
Right. Well,
I mean, it comes with territory.
yeah, there are those outliers
Yeah.
that don't. We don't
Every
need-
drummer I've ever known
Yeah.
likes Rush.
Yeah. It's a thing. But this record, this remixed version of it really, really does sound a lot better. And, there's a difference between remixing and remastering. This is remixed. I mean, this is going in and changing the way everything was dialed in. And it really does sound a lot better. But I liked the original too. But I don't have the original on vinyl. I've got this one.
Cool. All right. I've got one more.
All right.
And
Let's see it.
it kind of stays on the theme of, it's more dance music.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You have been out there with your picks today.
LCD Sound System.
Oh, yeah.
This is happening. And LCD Sound System, it sounds like a big band. It's not. It's like one guy, James Murphy. And this is James dancing. This was LCD's third LP, and on this release, which came out in 2005, this is when the Strokes were really getting serious. LCD Sound System is more like a rock's Velvet Underground.
Is there talk singing?
Oh yeah, there's talk singing. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I've heard of them. I've never given them a listen.
It's and he does kind of stretch the vocal cords at times, but there's more. It's less talk singing and more singing talk. I don't know what that means, but it sounded right. And he's another guy who came out of that New York music scene.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole New York scene in the early 2000s produced tons of great bands.
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on in New York at the time, but that's where a lot of great bands were coming from.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, it would have been grunge had trailed off.
Yeah.
You know, it had its decade.
But disco was long gone.
Yeah. You know, I think times like that are kind of incubators, you know, for new music, and once a genre or a type of music is that in your face for that long, people want to hear different stuff. That's my thought.
Yeah. And I think that was it.
Yeah.
That it was different. It was more like maybe in the New York scene, it was because the whole idea of house music, and that was really taking off. And DJs were starting to become a big deal.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, DJs are huge now.
yeah. And this was kind of that
The head
that
end
theme.
of it.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard about them forever. I've just never.
And it was I mean, it's very danceable music. I mean, one song on there, Dance Yourself Clean. It's just
It's too bad that's not possible.
and there's one song, Pow Pow. That's the song.
Hey, man. That's cool. What year? 10?
2005.
Oh, 5.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, well, definitely.
And he had broken up the band for a while, but then he started releasing more stuff here recently.
Yeah, no band ever breaks up anymore.
Yeah.
There's just too much
And
money.
well,
Yeah.
I think they miss it.
Well,
you know.
yeah, that too. But like when you think about it, the Beatles, you know, officially broke up.
Yeah.
If they were all alive today, they would not officially be broken up. I don't think there's just too
No.
much money at stake.
Yeah. There's
you
a
know,
lot of money
Yeah.
at stake. And
yeah, and some of
music.
these smaller bands, that's not the case. But you never want to shut the door
yeah.
completely.
And James was never playing big arenas. I mean, he wasn't,
Yeah.
selling out massive arenas, but he was big on the music festival tour.
Yeah. Yeah. And those are huge. I mean, in the last 15 years, those have become huge in the
Yeah.
U.S. People used to bitch all the time that the U.S. didn't have any festivals and they were all in Europe. Well,
Now they're all here.
yeah, we've got plenty. And
Yes.
there's just a glut of,
Yeah.
of
After complaining about not having any live music, there's now
too much.
there. Yeah, it's almost overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened with the Strokes show. I'm like, I'd love to see it, but it just, or not Strokes, Spoon Show with
Yeah.
Interpol.
Yeah. I mean, life gets in the way, man.
Yeah,
You know, we got to do that thing that we do.
make the money.
Make the money. Well, that was awesome.
Yeah,
That's great. I love. We'll have to do more shows like this because we try not to repeat and talk about records. You know,
the same record. Yeah,
Some records just bear discussion, right? For whatever, like a specific year release or an essential. Some of those have crossed over. But I love the fact, I mean, you brought some wild
yeah, stuff that was
stuff.
out there.
Yeah. And that's great. It's kind of an exercise for the mind, you
Yeah.
know, just kind of opening your mind up to things that you never would have listened to in the first place, or, things that just kind of popped up somehow in your experience. And sounds like NPR was a big part of that for you.
Yeah, well, they were, and they still are. I mean, I just don't
Have the time to listen
hop on
anymore.
it as much.
Yeah. And you got more records to listen to now.
Yeah.
I mean, my stuff might be a little more mainstream. But, again, I marvel at how many records I have when I go through the exercise of, getting them ready for the show. It's just, today, especially this morning, I worked early this morning and got home and collected my records, and I'm like, damn, I really have a lot of these. I can't believe my wife hasn't strangled me in my sleep.
And it does take time. I mean, because you got to you're going through your collection. You're like, ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And then you start whittling it down like, no, I want this one.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it reminds you of other stuff that you
Yeah.
have that you haven't looked at in a while. That's the best thing about,
You go record shopping in your own collection.
right. And there's, I don't need to spend the money twice, Wheels. There's a lot there. And that, I feel like there are a lot of people who have records who have them to have them. They may not listen to them all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe they give them to other people or whatever. But I love looking at them, and I love that they're there. But man, it is so much fun to flip through them.
Oh, it's a blast.
That's the best thing. Hopefully this show and shows like this hopefully invite all of you guys that are listening to get into that record collection and dig in there. Grab the stuff you don't normally throw on and give it a listen, because it's lonely. It's sitting there waiting for you to be spun at 33 1/3 rotations per minute. Right?
Yeah. Oh, and we didn't bring this up at the start of the show, which we have been, but this is show 40.
This is our 40th show, guys. If you can
40 shows.
If you can believe it. I was actually going to bring 40s for John and I to drink while we did the show, but in hindsight, that probably would have been a bad idea.
Yeah. I would have wanted malt duck.
Is that a real?
It was real. I doubt if it's made anymore.
Like when you were in college?
Yeah.
Malt duck.
Malt duck.
Oh,
it was a
God.
malt liquor, but
Yeah.
it was grape flavored.
Ooh.
Malt duck.
Grape flavored.
Well, malt liquors, you can make any
flavor.
Any flavor.
Yeah. Man, I remember Little Kings.
Yeah. No, malt duck was like the original Zima.
Oh, okay. And then you also had Purple Passion,
Yeah.
which was totally different.
Yeah, totally different.
That's high-powered stuff. Suddenly we're doing a
The
podcast about
alcohol show.
Suddenly we're doing a podcast about getting shit-faced. Well, hey, whatever it takes. We had a blast doing the live show. And our friend Kevin, you've got some goodies coming your way.
We're sending you a goodie basket.
And we want more ideas from you guys. We're going to finish out this essentials thing. I don't know if we'll do it before the end of the year or not, maybe. But more ideas for shows. We're gonna have some guests back on eventually. But we found that these shows with just the two of us have been a lot of fun to do, easier to schedule, and you guys are listening to them.
Yeah, they're tracking well. So.
Yeah. So we thank you guys for all of that. There's one more thing. Did I ever mention that my mom had Beatles albums that I tore the shit out of when I was?
You get
We need a bell, like a ding
ding.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks guys for sticking with us and listening. We've got some Vinyl Ventures merch that's going to become available soon, and any other ideas, show ideas, or stuff you want to see. We had talked about maybe doing some record bags, which might be cool.
Yeah.
If you guys were interested, I mean, if you guys tell me that you like them and you want to do it, I'll get them made. But you got to ask for them. You just got to say, give me that Vinyl Ventures record bag, and then you can tote our logo all through the record stores.
You can
that you go to.
advertise.
You can advertise with the shirts, and we can't thank you guys enough. This has been such a cool experience to go through. I just visited Denver. The record stores in Denver were fantastic, the ones that we went to. But man, that community exists everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's just really, it's cool to see that music, physical music, means something to people again. And, you guys listening and sticking with us through all of this stuff, it means the world to us. So for Wheels, I'm Jay, and we'll see you all the next time around.
It's a final adventure, such a go.